Average rate of change.
Yeah. So yeah. So we will say the value of dy dx or f prime x is the rate of change. Of fx or y, correct? So if, so we have the two, if dy over dx or f prime x is greater than 0, this means what? This means what? Huh? Jian. Jian?
Yes, miss.
Yeah, if dy dx equal to f prime x is greater than 0, means positive value. This means what? How do you interpret?
Positive value.
If my value of dy dx, that means, okay, if I say point A lah, f prime A is positive. So what does that mean? How do you interpret that?
Gradient is increasing.
No. The gradient is positive. This means the gradient is positive. This means if gradient is positive. So what does that mean? Jian?
Gradient, that means gradient is positive.
So gradient is positive. What does it tell me about the fx?
Y is increasing.
Yeah, lor. So that means this is fx or y is increasing. So that means if I look at the graph, the graph is
Going upwards.
yeah, the graph is going upward. You see or not? So you must have all this in mind, going upward. Correct? So the other way around, I don't have to let you know already. Am I right? So that is how you interpret dy dx. So if you look at question 2, they say point A and point B lie on the curve. Point A is the only point of inflection. Which of the following statement is true? Okay, so never mind. So the second thing that you have to know is, what is d2y over dx squared? That is f double prime x, second derivative. Who can answer me? Ethan.
It's the rate of change of the gradient of y equals fx.
Yeah, so this is d2y over dx squared is the rate of change of rate of change. That is dy over dx. That means it's telling me how dy dx changes as x increases. So So if, so now my question is, if d2y over dx squared, that is f double prime x, is greater than 0.
No, never mind.
Hey! If d2y over dx squared, you come in late, you please don't make noise. If d2y over dx squared equal to f double prime x is greater than 0, so what does it tell about dy dx? Dy dx, or we call it the gradient. The gradient of fx is increasing or decreasing? Hello? Is increasing or decreasing? The gradient is increasing or decreasing. So the gradient of fx is increasing, correct? But do I know whether fx is increasing or decreasing? So now what I need to do is, I need to combine between the two. So f double prime x, the value is just telling me that the gradient of the function is increasing. Yeah. But if I want to talk about the shape of the fx curve, graph. So it's what shape? If my f double prime x is greater than 0, what shape? Hello? Muhammad Amali?
Yeah, it's greater than 0, right?
Yeah, f double prime x is greater than 0. So shape of y equal to fx graph.
So it's convex.
Yeah, it's convex. Convex, or we call it concave what? Upward or downward? So you have to go to your textbook and check, because 2021, they come out with a question. They didn't say convex, they said concave downward. Okay, so please go and check the similar term. Are you clear? So that is how d2y over dx squared tell us. So if I want to know, like for example, in our case here, we have this graph, am I right? If you look at question 2, we have this graph. From this point, go up to here, point A. So they call point A as inflection point. So when you talk about property of a curve, so we have to be very sure of two important points. One is the stationary point. Of y equal to fx. So this word stationary, what does that mean? Yeah, can someone tell me? Stationary of y equal to fx, one Shen. One Shen.
Yes.
So stationary point, what does that mean?
The point is not moving.
Okay. The graph, how if I have a graph, how can I say the point is not moving? How can I say the point is not moving? I know you get it from the word, yeah. So in here, we are not saying not moving. We say that at that point, the rate of change of y is 0. So when we say stationary point, we mean that at this point, the rate of change is 0. So that is the meaning of stationary. Or you can say at this point, the gradient is 0. So that means we straight away know that at stationary point, of y equal to fx, the value of what equal to 0. The value of what equal to 0. Gerald. Gerald. You don't say yes, you have to answer me verbally. Gerald, at stationary point, the value of what is equal to 0? The value of fx, the value of f double prime x, or the value of fx? Gerald, value of fx. If I have a graph y equal to fx, fx equal to 0, that means I'm finding x-intercept. You see, in maths, you must know. Yeah, so now I say at stationary point of y equal to fx, the value of what is equal to 0? F prime x, yes. So stationary point, we got three types. Local maximum, local minimum, and another one, what do you call this point? Horizontal inflection point. Hello? So these are the things that you have to remember. So now, for our question 2 here, you look, this is, but the point A, the question says, what is point A? What is point A? Rachel, what is point A? Can you please read the question to me? Rachel, what is point A? Rachel, I call you once more. I tell you, your 70% is still in my hand. If I don't do something to it, your 30% fumble, the whole thing will fumble. I'm telling you. Rachel? Okay, class, you better tell Rachel. From tomorrow onward, if I call you, you don't respond, every SAT, I put you 1 grade down. See how many times I will record down your name. Okay, Ime. What is question 2 talk about? Point A. Question.
The point A is the point of inflection.
Okay, point of inflection. Thank you. Do you know what is point of inflection?
Is it like where the curve change direction?
Are you sure? Does the curve change direction? Ime?
No. No.
So what do you think? What do you think point of inflection? Point of inflection, we got 2 types. One is the horizontal. The other one is a non-horizontal. So this is the non-horizontal. So A is the non-horizontal. This is horizontal. Okay, so what is point of inflection? Because at point of inflection, we know that F double prime A is equal to 0. But for this one, F prime A is not equal to 0. That's why we call it non-horizontal. Horizontal means the gradient is 0 and the rate of change is also 0. So what do you mean by point of inflection? So for non-horizontal point of inflection, it means that at that particular point of y equal to fx, that means the fx is either increasing with the fastest rate or decreasing with the fastest rate. So that means the gradient at this point is the steepest. Are you clear? So that is called non-horizontal inflection point. That means the gradient is at the greatest value. Are you okay? Hello? So Ime, can you please tell me what is the answer for part A? Question 2, part A. Ime?
Yes.
Now, what is the
which one?
answer? There are 3 options there.
Is it bigger than G prime 2.2?
Okay. That means G prime 1.5 is bigger than G prime 2.5. Correct, you are right. So why? So what is the reason you will give? What is the reason you will give?
Because it's non-horizontal, so it's not equal, and then the curve is going up. It's positive.
Okay.
So it cannot be smaller than.
Yeah. So if you say like that, right, you won't get the mark. You won't get the mark. Do you know why? The important thing is because you have to mention the reason. What is the answer that you give? You tell me what is point A. Do you get me? So for question 2, yeah, part A, you get the right choice. Yeah, So G prime 1.5 is greater than G prime 2.5. Okay. So this is, you get 1 mark. So the reason you give, you must say that A is the non-horizontal point of inflection. So the gradient at A is the greatest. Or you can say the rate of change at A is the greatest. So therefore, you get me? So that is how you explain non-horizontal inflection point. So the whole graph is increasing, so we don't care. Unless we have different part, then we'll talk about that. Okay, can or not? So that will be your answer for part A. Okay, how about your answer for part B? Which of the following statement is true? Tick the appropriate box and justify your answer. Okay, so we know the curve is going like that. This part to here. So how describe this part? Y is increasing with increasing rate. So that means I know that for this part, my dy over dx is greater than 0. Increasing rate, what does that mean? Is also greater than 0. You see or not? Then after point A, it go like that until point B here. Yeah, so this part. So this part, if I interpret, I will say y is increasing with decreasing rate. Which means that dy dx is greater than 0, but d2y over dx squared is less than 0 because decreasing rate. Are you clear? Are you okay? Class, any question you like to ask? Okay. If you don't want, you can also look at the shape. So can someone tell me what is the answer for part B? Queen.
It's the third option.
Third option. Queen. B is here.
Then the first one.
So G double prime 2.5 is less than 0 because
Y is increasing with decreasing rate.
yeah, that's it. Or you can say because the Y graph is concave. But it's better to say because Y is increasing with decreasing rate. Hello, are you clear? So how about point A then, if I add on? If I say point A, at point A? How is G double prime 1.5? Hello, G double prime 1.5. Is it equal to 0, greater than 0, or less than 0? Kang Jiaxin.
Equals to 0.
Yeah, equal to 0. Why? Because it is a inflection point. Yeah, you just explain like that. Can or not? So are you all clear? Every time when we give you the graph, you must be able to describe the graph in this way. Yeah, so that you will know what is the answer. Okay, so curve property, graph, all this, you please go and revise. Yeah, from your SAT2. Okay, now I'm not going to discuss question 3. I'm going to straight away go to question 4. Can I move to question 4 first? Let's talk about calculus, finish up the whole thing first. Okay. Okay, question 4. Okay. One very important thing I hope that my student will know is the domain. Correct? Hello? When you talk about different function, you should know the domain differently, am I right? And you must know how to draw the sign diagram. Hello? If I give you polynomial, domain, I'm doing the revision. Domain is always x. X is a member of real number. I hope all of you know what is polynomial. This is one of the example of a polynomial. This is called quadratic. This is a polynomial. Okay, polynomial, all the power of the x term must be whole number. Okay, then we have exponential. For exponential, the domain is also doesn't matter. It's also x. X is a member of real number. Am I right? Like for example, y equal to e to the power of 3x minus 1. Okay, next, natural log. Okay, when come to natural log, like for example, this one given that y equal to ln x squared minus 4. So whenever we talk about natural log, what is the thing that we have to remember about the domain? About the domain. Yeah. Ethan, Sue.
The x squared minus 4 should be greater than 0.
Yes, you are right. That means whatever inside the ln here, this whole thing, right? So in order for us to solve inequality, we always use sign diagram. Sign diagram of what? Sign diagram of fx equal to x squared minus 4. I'm not talking about my y. I'm talking about this one. So in order to draw the sign diagram, still remember, first step, find the x-intercept. Yeah, and you can find the x-intercept by using your calculator. So we have x squared minus 4 equal to 0. So my x equal to plus or minus 2. Second step, you draw the line. Third step, you mark the x-intercept. Fourth step, you determine the sign. Am I right? So, you want it positive, so you select this region and this region because I want it to be greater than 0. So therefore, the domain for this case, so you don't want to use a sign diagram. So for this answer, the part 1, state the domain of fx. So you see, we only give you 1 mark. I give you how many marks? 2 marks. So that means the domain for this case will be x. X is a member of real number, and x must be less than -2, and x must be greater than 2. So whenever you talk about natural log, you have to remember whatever inside the log must be greater than 0. It can be simple, it can be difficult. So, and then when you talk about natural log, other than the domain, we have such thing as called vertical asymptote. You better bring back all these vertical asymptote. So we have 2 vertical asymptote, x equal to -2 and x equal to 2. Yeah. So that is for natural log. Yeah. So other than this, other function that you need to know will be rational function. So you remember what type of function is considered as rational function? These are called rational function. Can it be like that? Can. So the domain, you have to remember how to get the domain. Do you remember all that? Yeah. Uma? What is the domain for the first one and the domain for the second one for rational function? Uma?
Yes. So for the first one, x plus 1 must be more than 0.
Are you sure? Rational. Rational is the bottom cannot be 0.
Oh, must be, yeah.
So, yeah. So you're better, I tell you, listen here. Your internal, you get A, correct? If your final, because that is not my control anymore, I'm telling you, final, what type of question they want to come out, I don't know. So I have to prepare you for everything. Listen here. If your internal 70% you got an A, and your final you got a B, your grade straight away drop. Are you clear? So your 30% better within this month, you better work hard for it. Because that 30% is involved everything. If you get an A for your internal and your 30% you got an A minus, you still maintain as an A. Okay, later on Wednesday, I calculate for you and let you have a look at it. So better prepare. This one whole month, you better prepare because I cannot tell you what question is going to come up. No one can predict. Sales question is like that. Every year they like to come out what they can come out. But if you have your basic concept well, then you don't have to worry. So that's why I have to go through everything with you. So for rational function, you have to remember the bottom cannot be equal to 0. Understand? So for this one, ex minus 1 cannot be equal to 0. So e to the power x cannot be equal to 1. So x cannot be equal to ln 1. That means cannot be equal to 0. And that will become the vertical asymptote as well. Are you clear? That will become the asymptote as well. Are you okay? Class? I really hope you take out all your notes, all your SAT and look through it again, can or not. So in this case, the vertical asymptote is x equal to 0. For this case, the vertical asymptote is x equal to -1. Are you okay? So these are all the possible functions. So what other function? There is another one that I taught you. Can you tell me what is another one? Who can remember? Radical, good. Radical function. Radical function means of this type. Right? So in order to find the domain, we know that square root, whatever in the square root must be greater than or equal to 0. So that means 2x must be greater than or equal to -1. So x must be less than or equal to half. So that means if I sketch the graph, my graph will start from half here and you will go like that. So you have to know what to do. Then this part, there is no graph. So the domain will be x. X is a member real number and x must be greater than or equal to half. It can be equal to. For natural log, cannot. So you see how important is it? Hello? Are you clear? So for our question 4, this is the first part we done already. Yeah. So when you draw the graph, okay, so I'm going to question 4. So question 4, A. So state the domain. The moment you see, okay, usually my habit is like that when I do. Okay, if I have the paper, then I won't write down the function because the function is there. So the function is y equal to ln x squared minus 4. Okay, so what I will do is part A. Yeah, it's only 2 marks, so I can straight away write down the domain. If I learn by heart already, yeah, x squared minus 4 greater than 0. So I draw the sign diagram first. Plus, minus, plus. Okay. So I will say the domain x. X is a member real number. X must be less than -2. Cannot have equal sign. And x must be greater or I should put all. If you are not sure to put all and you please put a comma. Yeah. X must be greater than 2. Done. Okay. Then part B. So what is the question for part B? Hakim, what is the question for part B? Can you read part B? Hakim? Which page? Page 6. Hakim? You are supposed to find the x-intercept, correct? You're supposed to find the x-intercept means y equal to 0. So fx equal to 0, you solve for x. And I insist that you solve it algebraically, correct? Find the exact value of the x-intercept. So the inverse for ln is, Xin Li. Xin Li. Can you please talk? Cindy, talk. You don't have a mic. Then you tell me. Then you see how you're going to do that. You don't have a mic. From the very beginning of the year, you know that you have to. You don't have a mic. Okay, Yishan.
Yes.
Yeah, x squared minus 4 is equal to?
E to the power of 0.
So equal to?
1.
So x squared equal to? 4. 5. So x equal to plus or minus square root of 5.
5.
So is it within the domain? Yes, within the domain. So now you know. So when you do your part C, you sketch the graph, right? I told you already, when you want to sketch the graph, we prepare the axis first. You don't rush. Then you draw the vertical asymptote. This is your x equal to 2. Another vertical asymptote. X equal to negative 2. So square root of 5 is approximately 2 point something, correct? Am I right? So this is one of your x-intercept. This is another x-intercept. Then only you go to your calculator, you put in, then you do a zoom fit or zoom stack. I don't know, up to you. So then you get a graph like that. So you will get 3 marks. If the shape of the graph is correct, 1 mark. The vertical asymptote is correct, 1 mark. And the x-intercept, you mark it correctly, you get 1 mark. So in total, you get 3 marks. 1 mark here, 1 mark the shape, 1 mark the x-intercept. Both must be correct. Are you clear? Okay or not okay? Okay, then I put this question in such a way that it looked like a conjecture. Am I right? It looked like a conjecture. So for part D, you are repeating part A. For part D, you are repeating part A by writing out this one. It's just in terms of A, never mind. You just do it. So your x squared is more than A. So you know that you want to draw this sign diagram. Yeah. So you have to take the square root. You put equal to A first. Then you take the square root. Yeah. So you got negative root A. You do whatever way you like. So positive, negative, positive. So therefore, your vertical asymptote, yeah. Oh, this one is talking about vertical asymptote. Yeah. Then the x-intercept also the same thing. So the vertical asymptote is x equal to negative root A, x equal to positive root A. So x-intercept is also doing the same thing. Ln x squared minus A equal to 0. So x squared minus A equal to e to the power 0, which is 1. So x squared equal to 1 plus A. So x-intercept will be have 2. One is negative square root of 1 plus A. The other one is positive square root of 1 plus A. That's it. Then after that, you look for the rate of change. That's it. So that ends your question 4. So from today discussion, listen here, class. I've done revision, a very quick revision on chapter 2 and chapter 3. Okay. And another question in paper 2. Hello. Question 6. Okay, question 6 about another chapter. You can go to question 7. Yeah, question 7. And yeah, question 7, that will be 7 and 9. No, question 7. Question 7 is also from chapter 3. Yeah. So can you please go through chapter 2 and chapter 3 in your textbook? Just quickly browse through and see what are the things that you want me to explain more. Okay? Class, are you okay? Which question you want me to, which part of the chapter that you want me to explain more? Can you? Okay, any further question? Have I answered question 4 completely for you? Hello? Have I done chapter 4, question 4 completely? Did I miss out any part? Cindy, did I miss out any part of question 4?
Yes.
Yes, I miss out part F.
Yeah.
Okay, I miss out part F. So part F is a gx is equal to ln x squared minus A, correct? So I have to find g prime x, am I right? So to differentiate ln, you put down the fx at the bottom, f prime x on top. So g prime 4, 8 over 4 minus A. 16 minus A. That's it. Done. You sub in x equal to 4. That you get 2 marks. So what is important is you differentiate correctly, you sub in correctly. In between there, what you want to do, I don't care. Are you clear? Like this vertical asymptote, that is how I give the mark. X-intercept, that is how I give the mark. If you can straight away give me the answer, go ahead. Are you okay? So I want you to mark it by yourself. And at the end, after I finish discussion, I want to know all the answer, your total mark. Class, are you okay so far? So please revise through, take out your SAT 1, or your SAT 1 practice, or your SAT 2 practice, and your own SAT 1 and 2, go through it, run through it, see which part you need further explanation. Let me know, please. And start to write your 4 pages handwritten notes. Those you think you should write down. When you do your revision, there are certain questions need your special attention. Please write that down. Hello? Can or not? Okay. Thank you, class.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you.
Miss.